Sergeant Planter's going to be fine.
We've been incommunicado for days now, Sergeant. Nobody's calling, nobody's coming. Even black sites must report to someone.
You don't suppose they're planning to come and tie up loose ends?
At least we'd have some answers then. I think I know how to force a response from Washington. But first... Sergeant, I want you to take the transport to housing. Have everyone pack the necessities and move inside the base. Tell them whatever you want, but I want all of our families inside by nightfall.
Jesus, Captain. Are you...
The reality is we have absolutely no idea how this will play out, so I don't want them caught in the crossfire, or used as a bargaining chip. For now, we take a defensible position until we have a clear path forward. And in the meantime, if anyone asks, this is just a routine drill. Makes me sick involving our families in all this.
We know they're already involved, Captain. The men will stand behind your decision.
This is Captain Roger Maxson. Serial number 072389. I am the acting commander of the Mariposa military base in Central California. As soldiers, we swore to defend this country from all enemies, foreign and domestic. Let it be known that oath has been honorably upheld by the brothers here at Mariposa. We've pressed for a response from Washington, but have heard nothing. At this time, we are assuming the worst. Due to violations of the Constitution of the United States by the federal government and dishonorable conduct of its representatives, I hereby declare our relationship with the federal government dissolved at this time. This will remain in effect until contact is reestablished and certain assurances are made. Let it be known that we are acting in what we believe to be the best interest of Homeland Security. Ourselves to be in full desertion from the army and no longer under the government's command? What happens? Nothing. Something bad is coming down.
And something bad did come. On October 23rd, 2077, the Great War began, and it ended. The apocalypse. Humanity was pushed back centuries as the slate was wiped clean by nuclear fire. Some places were spared in the conflagrations. Mariposa was one of them.
I can't believe those bastards finally did it. Damn them all to hell. It seems inconceivable we weren't targeted.
The Mariposa military base was a black site that just entered service in January that year. Passed over in the initial strike, the men and women of the security team suddenly found themselves the heavily armed heirs of a brave new world.
Sergeant Planter volunteered to go outside today to take specific readings on the atmosphere. It seems the radiation hasn't spread this far. Since he was wearing his power armor, there was no threat to him from radiation. But if he had been exposed, he would have had to be exiled. We don't have adequate decontamination facilities here. I convinced the men we should bury the scientists. I don't know why. Perhaps it was to ease my conscience. I finally started to believe their stories. The last one was dying. My God. What have I become? I've recruited civilians to do jobs my soldiers are too busy to bother with. Many of them are skilled craftsmen. I'm having them take what they need from the base. We can't leave more than a few automated defenses and force fields. Some of the kids are smart enough to train up as engineers for future use, like my son. I hope I'm not being one of those overly optimistic army dads when I say he has a gift for tuning laser weapons. Not a bad shot, either. The VATS make me uneasy. I'll have to hope the automated defenses can scare off interlopers, until China's next volley of missiles wipes this place off the map for good. This base belongs under a pile of rubble.
Maxon and his followers left the horrors of Mariposa behind and traded them for the horrors of the wasteland. Little did they know that the people responsible for the FEV were still very much alive. Fate would have it that they would cross paths again, but that is a story for another day.
Brothers and sisters, those of us who served at Mariposa learned something that should never be forgotten. We witnessed firsthand the recklessness man embodies when his science is allowed to outpace his morals. Those who called themselves our leaders checked their ethics at the door and let fear decide our future. Never again. The Great War has taught us that if we are to survive, mankind must learn restraint. Let future generations know that the penalty for not heeding this warning is an endless cycle of war. A man once said that the object of war is not to die for your country, but to make the other bastard die for his. It's a powerful sentiment, but it's not one I subscribe to. I think a great soldier is one who prays for peace, because it is the soldier who must bear the deepest wounds and scars of war. Dear brothers, I am sick and tired of war. Its glory is fiction. Its consequences, irreversible. War is only for those who have never fired a shot, or heard the groans and bloodied screams of the dying. Our Brotherhood might have been born in Alaska, but it became a man at Mariposa.
After Maxon left the base, it was torn apart by mutants. Then the Vault Dwellers set up a nuclear warhead inside the place. But Maxon did record his thoughts at the time. I also have access to his armor and sidearm that you saw in there. Neuroanalytics from the armor and genetic memory from blood samples on the gun helped me reconstruct the rest of it. As you saw, the Brotherhood was quite different at the start.
So that's it.
The Brotherhood you see here in the Commonwealth is just one of our chapters, and Arthur was just one of many elders with the name Maxon. Although the West Coast chapter adheres to Maxon's ideals more closely than the East Coast. I hope you get a chance to see what California and the Mojave are like someday.
The Brotherhood's learned from the mistakes of the past, and offers us our best chance at a real future.
At least now you have a greater understanding of Roger Maxon. You may even know him better than some of the people in the Brotherhood. I have something else to share. I mentioned that I got some DNA from Maxon's sidearm and his power armor. Truth is, I borrowed them from the Brotherhood. I don't think the Quartermaster knew what they are. Must have thought they were just obsolete tech for the scrap bin. But I noticed that you have a knack for wearing power armor. And I think that you can appreciate the significance of Maxon's suit. It may not be a state-of-the-art T-60 like all the kids are wearing these days, but some of the old models are a bit more versatile. I'd rather see it with you than gathering dust in a Brotherhood storage locker.
Excuse me. Stay there.